Good morning, students. Today we have class on gradations of muscle contraction. What are the gradations we have to see? But before that, we have to have some of our previous lessons which we have learned. We need to go through it. Then you can understand these gradations very nicely. You might be knowing the types of muscle fibers. There are two types of muscle fibers. Three almost, but one is not at all in the human beings. That is type 1 fibers, they are slow fibers, slow twitch fibers, and they are oxidative fibers because they have oxygen relation with them, that is, they give out oxygen and change the ATP. Second is fast fibers, they are type 2 fibers, fast twitch fibers. They are fast glycolytic fiber. These are aerobic, these are glycolytic. And type 3, type third type is type 2A fibers, that is intermediate fibers, that is from the intermediate fibers that are coming from the interneurons, and they are mostly oxidative and glycolytic, but these are not present in the human beings. Types of muscle fiber, as you know very well, they are actin and myosin filament having different amino acids at different places and different ATPase activity, that is oxidative and glycolytic. Type 1 fibers, as all of you know, as slow twitch fibers, they are very slow, loaded with mitochondria and depend upon oxidative phosphorylation for ATP production, low in glycogen and glycolytic enzyme. So glycogen stored in the liver is very less and they are mostly oxidative, and that is oxidative phosphorylation takes place for ATP production. They are rich in myoglobin. When they are rich in myoglobin, they are red in color. Hence, you get more of oxidation to the hemoglobin, and hence red in color. Smaller fiber diameter. Fiber, because they are slow, the diameter is smaller diameter, activated by small diameter, thus slow conducting motor neurons. So, motor neurons are also slow conducting. Rich blood supply, resistant to fatigue. They don't go into fatigue because they are slow fibers. Almost many of the slow fibers, they don't go into fatigue because they are useful in posture and standing and weight bearing. Dominant in the muscles with slow prolonged contraction. Example, those responsible for posture and soleus muscle. Soleus muscle, that is in the foot. Type 2 fibers. They are few in mitochondria. That's why they are white in color, rich in glycogen, and depend on glycolysis for ATP production. They are white in color, their color is white, and they depend mostly on glycolysis for ATP production. They fatigue easily, low in myoglobin. So when they are low in myoglobin, oxygen is very less because hemoglobin is less, so oxygen carrying capacity is also less. Hence they are whitish in color because they don't have myoglobin, they are whitish in color. Activated by large diameter, thus fast. Any diameter which is having large diameter that goes fast. As we have seen even in the nerve, the large diameter that goes very fast. That is, you have got a fast conduction, and motor neurons are also very less. Also known as fast twitch fibers, dominant in the muscles used for rapid movement that is for writing, eye movements and other things. They are, these are mostly uncommon in humans. As we have seen, that is, once fast fibers means as you have given the stimulus, they act fast, they go to the contraction and then they relax very fast. Whereas in slow fibers, there is contraction is slow and they go up to some force velocity and they come back. That is, they are slow in relaxation, contraction and relaxation. Fast fibers they fatigue easily, slow fibers they fatigue slowly. Characteristics of three types of skeletal muscle fibers. This you know very well. We have finished it out. Chemical staining you will come to know in the histology, that is in the anatomy. Fiber types and performance. Different types of training influences the predominance of type of fibers in the body. Power athletes, that is sprinters, their distance is less and they can possess high percentage of fast fibers because slow distance are sprinters possess high percentage of fast fibers because they have to run fast. So they have to contract and for endurance athletes, distance runners, that is, a distance is prolonged, so they have got a first they start slowly and then they pick up, have a percentage of high percentage of slow fibers because they have to endure for a longer distance. That's why they take because slow fibers they fatigue very slowly. In that way, slow fibers are more in the endurance athletes. Others, weightlifters and non-athletes have 50% slow and 50% of fast fibers. Now, why do you say they should have fast fibers? Because they go to a smaller distance, say 100 meters. They run very fast and they fatigue easily. So, they have to have a contraction very fast. In that way, these type of fibers are mostly useful for small distance. For longer distance, if they exhaust their ATPs and they have slow fibers. So slow fibers they fatigue slowly. So they should have both the type of fibers, that is fast fibers, and have slow fibers. As you know very well about the properties of the skeletal muscle. Whenever you stimulate a muscle, it will excite. How will you stimulate a muscle? Electrical stimulus, chemical stimulus, thermal stimulus. All these things you do from externally and stimulate a muscle fiber that will get excited. Once it gets excited, there is a conduction that is from the axon of the nerve. It is going to the synaptic nerves, from synaptic nerve to the that is synaptic cleft, then into the muscle membrane, plasma membrane. There they unite with acetylcholine receptors, and these acetylcholine receptors start contraction. And acetylcholine esterase use that will destroy the acetylcholine. So this is the conduction. Once there is a conduction, there is a contractility. So muscle contracts. And as if you are giving more number of stimulus, there is effect of summation. So one after the other, you are directly stimulating the muscle soon after the first stimulus. That is first stimulus, and after immediately after relaxation, you are giving the second stimulus. So when second stimulus is given, that is called as summation adding. So in that way, you are going on adding. As soon as your relaxation has come, contraction and relaxation has come, again you are stimulating the muscle. So in that way, there is a summation of adding of the excitability, that is excitability. And as you know, refractory period. As soon as you give a stimulus, it starts conducting. That is from the axon to the synaptic knobs, from synaptic knobs to the, that is cleft, from cleft to the receptors in the muscle, acetylcholine receptor. So this is taking time. So that you might have completed the neuromuscular junction. At that time, you will come to know as soon as you give stimulus, there is a refractory period. Because the stimulus has been given, the work it has got excited, so excitation takes from the axon, that it brings down the acetylcholine from the synaptic knobs, and that is poured into the synaptic cleft. From synaptic cleft it is into the muscle membrane. In the muscle membrane, there are receptors for acetylcholine. They take up the acetylcholine and they contract. That's why there is a refractory period. After that, there is a contraction. So the period taken from the stimulus to the contraction is called as refractory period. Extensibility and elasticity of the muscle, all of you know. And you might also know, if one muscle is stimulated, all the muscles are get stimulated. If one muscle doesn't get stimulated, all the other muscles also doesn't get stimulated. That is called as all or none law. As the motor neuron, same one of the muscles, if it doesn't have if it is having a threshold stimulus, then only it will get stimulated. If the threshold stimulus is being given, they are not stimulated. So if one is stimulated with adequate stimulus, or then all the other muscle fibers also get stimulated. Fatigue is a phenomena, as we have seen, that after running for some time you will get fatigue. Lactic acid and pyruvic acid are formed. Till then, or acetylcholine estrase finished, that is central nervous system. In that way, you will get fatigue. After some time, you will recoup and the fatigue will go. So now you know these are the previous things you already have studied, but it's only to tell you how it acts. Again, we are revising it. So there is an experimental setup for demonstrating the properties of the muscle. You take a gastrocnemius muscle, that is a muscle in the leg. This gastrocnemius muscle is cut and put on the stand, and it is attached with the electrodes, which are kept to the electrical apparatus. And once stimulated, and one end is attached to the stand and other is attached to the liver. This liver is writing on the graph paper, smoke paper. So once you give it, which muscle will contract, and once the muscle contract, you will get a node. So this type of muscle contraction, there will be a muscle get shortened and you will get a curve. And as you go on giving stimulus, the curve will go on increasing. So you have to give a stimulus and see the curve. So when after relaxation, if you are giving a second stimulus, this curve will have higher height. Why higher height? I will tell you. because as you are giving a stimulus, it is passing through the plasma membrane of the muscle. Once it is passing from the plasma membrane of the muscle, it is going through sarcotubular system. That is from the T tubules, it is entering into the sarcoplasmic reticulum. In the sarcoplasmic reticulum, you have got longitudinal tubules. Along the longitudinal tubules are getting aborted by the cisternae. These cisternae, they have calcium. As soon as you are stimulating, the membrane potential is passing from the plasma membrane and going into the T tubule and stimulating the cisternae which are getting released. These calcium, once they get released, they start contraction. Sodium and potassium ions also exchange. Even the sodium ion from outside, they come inside, and potassium ion, they go outside. That is action potential, as you know very well. So now in the gradations of the muscle fiber, we are coming now. With this, you can understand very easy. Here you are giving a stimulus, that is electrodes you are putting, and you are giving a electrical stimulus. So it is passing through the nerve, entering into the muscle fiber, that is from the neuromuscular junction, and the contraction starts. So here you are giving stimulus. So it is traveling now. So it is come here, the contraction will start in the muscle. It is going up. In the halfway, if you draw a line, this is called as contraction line, and this is called as a relaxation line. This contraction line is up to 45 and relaxation is up to 95 to 100. Why do you say it is 95? Because it's an active process and relaxation is a passive process, because all the calcium is going back into the system and other things, sodium channels are getting closed and potassium channels are getting opened. So you now know very well that this is the latent period. So latent period is the traveling time of the stimulus, that is from the axon to muscle. So it is in this latent period it has got two, that is absolute refractory period and the relative refractory period. One half of it is the latent period, one half of it is absolute refractory period. That is, whenever any number of stimulus given in the absolute refractory period, you will not have, won't get any contraction. And in the relative refractory period, that is another half of the latent period, you may get some little contraction more. So this is contraction period. So that is refractory period also you have come to know from this curve. That is latent period, absolute refractory period and relative refractory period. Effect of stimuli, that is a beneficial effect. Why do you say that is beneficial? When you are giving a stimulus, that is, one stimulus has been given from an electrode. So there is a contraction. So as soon as there is a relaxation, you are giving second stimulus. Second stimulus, when they are coming down to the baseline, you are giving a second stimulus. This second stimulus is little bit more because all the calcium which has not gone inside the system, it is still present there. At that time, you are giving second stimulus, so it will have additional calcium using there. So in that way, it is beneficial. Before every calcium is going back and all the potassium channels getting open, before that, if you are getting a second stimulus, it will add as a beneficial effect because all the calcium has not gone back into the system. So still that can be also used. In that way, there is a multiple stimuli will have more of the beneficial effect. Before that is, as soon as it is relaxing, if you have to give. Effect of multiple stimuli. A single action potential produces a single muscle twitch, that is contraction. Applying a second stimulus during the relaxation phase produces a contraction that adds up to the first. As I have told you, if the second stimulus is delivered in the contraction phase of the muscle, there is addition of force. If you are giving it in the contraction phase, before it is not going into the relaxation. If you are giving it in the contraction phase itself, then the curve will, what will happen to the curve? It doesn't have a relaxation time. You are giving before the relaxation, you are giving delivered in the contraction phase itself. That is, here itself you are giving the second stimulus. That is in the contraction phase. Or here, before going into the relaxation. So it is adding more force. Refractory period, as I have told you. Refractory period of the muscle is short. It varies from muscle to muscle. That is fast muscles and slow muscles. Very short in fast muscles and relative, that is absolute refractory period and relative refractory period, what I have told you. Occupies a part of the latent period, the simple muscle curve. I have shown you the first part is absolute refractory period is the latent period and second part is the relative refractory period. Summation, that is you are going on adding contraction after another contraction. You are giving a stimulus and adding more stimulus to the first stimulus before the relaxation. That is called as titanization. And multi-fiber summation, size principle. Frequency of summation. What is frequency of summation? First you give, that is in the relaxation period, you are giving a simple muscle twitch. Second, you are giving before it is completely relaxed. Or say once it is relaxed, second stimulus you are giving, it is just like a staircase effect because it is having a beneficial effect. That is, the curve will go still more up. It is one ladder up. So in a way, if you are giving one after the other of the relaxation time, so it goes on improving. But if you are giving a stimulus before the relaxation, what is happening? One, that is say, this is simple muscle. Simple muscle twitch. So after the relaxation we are giving. So this is increasing the size. So it is going on increasing the size. That is staircase phenomenon. And once here, again what you are doing is before relaxing itself, you are giving the before complete relaxation, you are giving the stimulus. So it is from here only the contraction is starting and there is a relaxation. Again, before relaxation is complete, you are giving a third curve. So you are giving a curve before completely relaxed. And now what you are doing is you are giving it the contraction phase itself. In the contraction phase itself, when you are giving, these are called, when you are giving in the relaxation phase, that is tripping, summation, and that is called as tripping. They are just like saw of the blade. And once you are, that is, if you are stimulating continuously, one after the other, that you are getting steppy, staircase, and other things. But if you are completely holding on to the button and giving a stimulus continuously, then you will get all the stimulus in the contraction wave itself and there will be a continuous contraction. The continuous contraction is called as titanus. So when you lift it up, it will fall. When you don't stimulate it, it will fall down. So continuous stimulation in a contraction phase that gives you titanus. you get trippy when you are giving it in relaxation phase. That is, relaxation phase has it ending, before ending, and then starting of the relaxation phase. If you are giving, you are getting a trippy. So it is just like a blade. So as if you are going up the above of the relaxation period, giving a stimulus, at that time you are getting a saw-like appearance of the contraction. Because you are giving stimulation as soon as that is muscle is started to relaxation. Multiple stimuli are given to fall in the contraction phase, that is tetanus. Beyond a critical frequency of stimuli, the contractor reaches the maximum. The contraction appears to be a smooth and continuous one. So it is just a continuous contraction is called as tetanus. Further increase in the frequency of stimulation produces no change. So once it is in the contraction phase, if you are giving even the more stimuli, it doesn't change. Tetanus occurs as calcium ions are not allowed to be pumped back into the sarcoplasmic reticulum of the cisternae. Spatial summation and motor. Spatial definition. A motor neuron and a muscle fiber supplied to the hip. As we know, all the muscle fibers, motor neuron and muscle fibers, they are coming from the spinal cord from the ventral horn, that is type B and type 2, they are coming alpha, type 1 alpha, they are coming to the muscles and they are stimulating it. So whatever is necessary, it is coming from above cerebral cortex and it is coming up to the spinal cord. From the spinal cord, from the ventral, it is going to the muscle fiber as a motor neuron. Up to the fiber, it goes, that is called as a motor unit. Functional contractile unit of the muscle, that is a motor unit. All the muscle fibers, the unit fire synchronously when a motor neuron fires. So now you know from one fiber of the motor neuron, that is in the axon, it is going into the muscle cell and it is stimulating. That is called as a motor unit. These motor units, they are supplying, that is called as simple, that is called as motor neuron. So the functional contractile units of all the fibers of the unit fire synchronously. They fire synchronously when a motor neuron fires. Size varies depending upon the function of the muscle. So, if you want fast fibers or slow fibers, so the function is depending upon the function of the other fiber. Few of the muscle fibers do a unit more precise to control, that is fast muscle. There are 2 or 3 fibers, it is controlling 2 or 3 fibers so that the fibers are fast and diameter is large. In that way, they are fast moving. So that has got one type of motor unit for the slow fiber and another fiber they are going to the 20 to 30 or even say 4, they are for the slow fibers. Generally, one unit has one type of muscle fiber, either fast or slow. Generally, one unit has one type of fiber, that is either slow fiber or fast fibers. So you know what is a motor unit. Motor unit is apart from the neuron to the muscle fiber. They are supplying to the either to the fast fiber or to the slow fiber. Generally one of the unit has one type of fiber, either fast or slow. Now you are seeing neuromuscular junctions. From here the motor neuron, they are going into the muscle. They are on the muscle fibers. These are the neurons that are in the muscle fiber. Here it is a fast muscle fiber, it is only supplying to the pure muscles. And slow fibers it is supplying to the large number of muscle fibers. And the weak signal is received from the CNS. Smaller motor units a weak signal is received from the CNS. Smaller motor units are activated first as they are more excitable. Smaller motor neurons, that is the fuse fibers, they are excited. As the signal increases, larger and larger units are recruited. That is, slow fibers are also recruited. And the force of contraction is created. It is going how they are getting stimulated with a bigger diameter and smaller diameter of the nerve. The different motor units are driven asynchronously by the spinal cord, and the contraction alternate between different motor units, fast and slow. This ensures that the contraction buildup is smooth. So, as if you are giving it, that is continuously, if you are giving it to slow fibers, that is contracting more, and if you are giving it to fast fibers, that. So, if you are giving alternate also, they are contracting, but to the some extent. Now, as you very well know that there are two types of muscle contraction. When the muscles contract, they generate force and decrease the length. So once the muscle is stimulated, it contracts and they generate the force called torque and decrease the length. The length decreases and the force increases. That is isotonic, constant force. Iso means same, tonic means the force remains same. Or say tone remains the same, tone of the muscle remains the same. But contraction of the muscle will be there. Isometric means the meter remains the same, but the constant length will change and the lengthening will change. The length will either decrease or increase the meter. So isotonic. Isotonic when you force of the tone in the muscle remains constant, but the length changes. And how it has been explained is, so when you are giving a stimulus, your muscle is getting contracted. Say this is a bicep muscle. This bicep muscle is giving a stimulus, it is contracting. The bulk of the muscle is increasing. Means muscle is shortening, but the force is same. That is, tone remains the same, but length changes. That is, it shortens. Now here, isometric, the muscle length is held constant and the force generated by the muscle changes. So when it is lengthening, the tone is same, but the length is increasing because you are relaxing the muscle. Once if you are relaxing the muscle, the length increases. Say this is bicep muscle, it is attached to the bone and this bone is relaxing. When you are extending the bone, like this one, that is extension of the forearm, at that time the bicep muscle is increasing. So length of the muscle is either shortening or increasing. Now coming to the isometric. Muscle length is held constant and the force generated by the muscle changes. So here we are giving an example. The meter in muscle is contracting, the force is increasing. and it is developing. So here, this is muscle remains the same. That force is increased. This is isotonic and this is isometric. Muscle contract but does not shorten. So here in the isometric there are centric muscle contraction and eccentric muscle contraction, that is shortening and lengthening. Shortening of the muscle is there and lengthening of the muscle is there. That is isotonic contraction. It has got again two divisions, that is shortening and isometric is different. Isometric is the muscle length remains the same and that is contraction with the force will increase. That is, if you are take a dumbbell and if you are extending the muscle, the force of contraction is increasing, but the muscle length is remaining the same because you are holding the dumbbell at the hand. So tone is increasing, but muscle length is same. That is useful for posture. So, force regulation in the muscle. Types and number of motor units recruited. The more motor, the more number of motor units used, the greater is the force that is in the fast motor unit. Greater will be the force. Example, fast moving, that is number of motor units are more because you are using more number of muscle fibers. Frequency of stimulation, simple twitch, summation, that is you are adding or you are giving a continuous stimulus. The frequency of stimulus, as you know, a simple twitch, where you are giving only one stimulus. Summation, where you are giving, adding more of the stimuli. And tetanus is the complete stimulation. Initial length of the muscle. Starling said that if the initial length of the muscle fiber is increased, force of the contraction increase. But nowadays some changes have also come. So Starling's law, what we used to read, that is, if the initial length of the muscle fiber is increased, force of the contraction is increased. Now lengthen, tension, relationship. The amount of tension force developed by the muscle during contraction depends upon the initial length and the stretch of the muscle fibers. Depends upon the initial length and the stretch of the muscle fiber. The stretch, muscle is stretched, passive tension increases in it due to elongation of chitin filaments and other connective tissue. Where is the chitin filament? It is between the Z band and the M band, that is called as chitin filament. It starts from the Z band of the sarcomere to the M band of the sarcomere, that is, it is called as chitin. That is the filament which is elongated, increases due to the elongation of chitin. So, when you see chitin is elongated, that is, that bands are completely relaxed. If stimulated at different lengths, different degrees of force is generated. So, when the actin and actin filaments are attached to the sarcomere, And then from the sarcomere, that is Z band, to the M band, there is one chitin filament that is getting attached. So now, if the Z band is completely apart, that means I band, that is actin filaments, are not overlapping over the myosin filaments. That is elongated length. If stimulated at different lengths, different degrees of force are generated. If you say, if some of the actin filaments are overlapping the myosin filament, some degree of contraction is there. And as you see, if they are coming still more, that band is coming nearer, still more, that is nearer to the I band. At that time, most of the filaments of the actin filament might be overlapping the myosin filaments. So, contraction is number of filaments. The actin filaments are overlapping the myosin filaments. That is called as they are moving over the actin filament, that is a ratchet theory, that is they are coming forward. Length tension relationship, that is length and tension, optimum overlap of the actin and myosin filaments. See, when this is there, actin filaments, when they are not overlapping the myosin filament, that is completely initial length is increased from here to here, and force of contraction is low. The tension is developed is zero. As it is going down, the tension is, once the lengthening is shortening, at that time what is happening, force of contraction is getting decreased. That is at 2.2, most of the things are getting nearer, coming nearer to the overlapping. And in third degree here, it is completely actin is overlapping the myosin filament, and even it is overlapping, that is actin filament also. So even the actin filaments are overlapping, not only the myosin filament, they are overlapping. So that band is coming very nearer. The titin which is here, it is also going nearer to the M band. So here, the force here, once it is coming up to here, the force generated is less, and it is then going down. So the shortening, it will not go up to here, but it is going up to here, and then it is stopping. From here, there is a downfall of the force, tension. So when the lengthening is there, the length is increased, force is increased. When the length is shortening, the force is decreased. Load, velocity and relationship. As the load increases, velocity decreases. As you know, if you are carrying more weight, velocity decreases. What is Fenn effect? Till 1920, elastic theory of the muscle contraction stated that a predetermined amount of energy was released when the muscle is contracted. Predetermined amount of energy was released. When proved that energy release was proportional to the work done. So that theory has lost its weight, and this theory has proved that amount used is more, and it is not predetermined, it has to use more energy. So now you know what are the gradations of the mother fiber. That is simple mother twitch, then beneficial effect, then summation of effect, then there is that is trepi, then there is tetanus, and that is complete contraction, that is called as tetanus. So how these gradations have come, how they are contracting, what are the things that are coming into the play, you have come to know very easily. I think you have understood the subject, that is gradations of mother fiber. Thank you.